try to brief them about what's going to happen, but this is Sanskar Madan Sawant. He's an illustration and installation artist based in Mumbai and the founder of Homework Studio, Homework Cool Kids, right? Yeah, Homework Studios. So I'm not going to say anything, he's going to talk about his work and his journey and everything in between.
Super. Thanks, Padam. Thank you so much, guys. Hi, I'm Sanskar. I'm the founder of a design studio called Homework Cool Kids in Bombay. We are a space design, illustration, and everything in between sort of a design studio. I mean, like, it's very confusing. I need to actually show you things so that you understand what I'm talking about, because I had a very tough time navigating through my journey where I want to find what I actually do. And I think times are changing every year. Like, every year is different than this year is different than last year. Next year is going to be completely different. So I don't want to just tell you, okay, I'm a designer and I want to just do this, because like with seasons, for example, when I'm doing like a mural, and I come from a city where it rains a lot, so I can't be doing murals all throughout the year. So I don't want to call myself a muralist and only get mural projects, which is why I started a design wing. And actually we'll just go through some of the things how I started my journey, and then I'll show you what I'm like trying to build in the future. All right. Dosto means friends. So this is for my dosto from India. You guys can just tell me if I drift away from English and start speaking in Hindi, because I do that a lot. Okay. All right. So I'm an illustrator, muralist, installation artist, printmaker, tattooer, graffiti artist, motorcyclist, a wannabe trick shot player, and a cringe meme curator. I mean, like, I want to put it on cringe memes that helps me be sane, because we work in such an intellectual space that I want some break from work, and in the evening I want to watch very cringed out reality shows like Big Boss, or I don't know if you know the reference, but really annoying shows that until you don't watch it, you don't want to listen about it, but once you get hooked to it, you are all in. So yeah, I mean, my journey as a cringe meme curator also has been crazy, because I gain almost like say 20 to 30 followers every day because of my work, and I lose 40 because of my memes on my stories. Sorry. I like to call myself Chewed Perfect. It comes from this smiley that I call Chewdax, which is a creepy smiley that I've built for myself, because I couldn't come up with a character design. And this guy that I follow, his name is Dude Perfect. It was one person, now it's a full crew. They do a lot of trick shots. I mean, even I do trick shots, but I do really shitty ones, low pay ones. I think that's a long video, but I want you to watch it. So yeah, like I do very sloppy trick shots. I take 7 takes and I select one, and then I make a video out of it. And then the other side of Chewed Perfect is doing graffitis on the streets. Can you guys see this? Wait, I'll just be on this side. Yeah, I mean, graffiti overall has been considered as, peeing on the street sort of a medium, where people just find walls and just tag their names, so that it's also like a wayfinding for their friends who live in the city, that I'm in your city, or else I've been here sort of a space. But for me, it's a freestyle sort of a freestyle sort of a medium, where it's more than a sketchbook. Like in a sketchbook, I just have maybe a few sketch pens and stuff. Here what I do is I start with a random shape on the wall and challenge myself to add more forms to it, so that it eventually gets balanced out. So it's like a mental and a physical exercise. When I do graffitis, I almost like move the entire body in like a direction, or to get it exactly what I want. In fact, like when you see artworks like this, you actually understand what is the height of the artist. because he's done it freestyle. So I can look at any artwork and tell you, okay, this guy might be 5'7", 5'8", because he's drawn this circle and he's got this circle right. So it's like a proper exercise that I like to do. It's also obviously a very, I have to paint it really quick and just run from there, because obviously no one wants to get beaten up for their own artworks on the walls. And when the cops catch me, I'm like, they're not paying me, I'm doing this for free. And the cops beating me and they're like, oh, they're not paying you? Okay, give me a number, I'll call you when I want to get my cop station painted. Okay, I don't want to sound like a boomer, but I really started drawing before the internet. That also means that I was not very distracted, or I didn't know trends. I was like, when I started drawing, everything that I saw was a fresh, like, how do I put it? I mean, like, I was just enjoying the space because it's better than mathematics, physics, chemistry, science, whatever. So I was just gravitating towards the idea of drawing, art, sketching, trying out different mediums, trying out different canvases from paper to thermocols. This is my first introduction to art and installations. It's my father doing these thermocol cutouts for festivals, my birthdays, when they kept my name Sanskar. And the first thing that I saw being drawn was a Ganpati, like a Ganesha. And you can say that I pretty much grew up in the thermocol fumes and glitters and tools all around myself. Which is why I was like, okay, what I'm learning in school is just pencil on paper, or like sketch pen or watercolor on paper, which is why I decided to go to a fine art academy called JJ Institute of Applied Art. Woo! All right, to give you a context of what JJ is or what it stands for us, it's considered to be one of Asia's biggest fine art academies. We have close to 3,000 people applying for the aptitude test and only 100 making it. So the first 100 directly go into JJ. And that being said, the professors are not really interested in teaching you the basics. They're like, you learn from the peers, and that's actually true. Like sometimes you feel ashamed of your work because someone else can draw a better human drawing than you. They can get colors right. I'm like, when I used to see my peers draw just an object drawing of an orange, they would find purple in it, and they would find like blues in it. And I'm like, wait, orange is orange. Where do you find these different colors in it? They're like, just squint your eyes and see, you'll find those little details. Even when we draw with a pencil, you need to get the texture of the material or the material detail of the product right. If it's steel, it has to look steel, even with a pencil. If it's an object drawing, like something like a rock, even if it's a rock, it has to look like a rock. If it's a pebble, it has to look like a pebble. What I really enjoyed in JJ was to build our own stages for cultural events and doing poster communications or just standees for it. We'd never printed it out. We actually painted it. And again, it was an intermediate level of art execution that I saw at home, where my dad used to make those mini setups for festivals. And if you can see, that's the stage that we made for our final year cultural event. That's our sports week, all the communications around sports week. We would like deliberately just put a theme to it so that we can execute it in different fashions so that every year looks different than each other. Even if we are like doing a small skit, we would make the stage for ourselves. While I was doing this, because there are 4 batches, of course. So when I'm in the second year, I'm taking a certain level of responsibility of doing up the stage or the entrance arch or the stage or the just some island installations or some hanging stuff. My seniors would do something else, and they would go out and paint walls for MTV's events, or MTV Block Party, or any sort of a Mumbai Marathon. And they would take us to help them with those execution stuff. And that's when I realized, okay, I have to work in the night as well. I have to complete a project in, say, 12 hours, 6 hours, whatever the brief is, whatever the timelines are. I come from Bombay, which is also the Bollywood capital of the country, and we got a lot of chance to work with big art directors who made films, and they would trust us blindly because we came from JJ, because we had the idea of using tools. We could use like massive compressors, industrial tools to get our execution right. And that's when I started actually understanding, okay, there's some money in art and design, and I can actually become rich. But then, obviously, I didn't have the sense of saving that money. I was just waiting for the next project. Whenever maybe the next project comes in 3 months, I was just enjoying that, because I was already loaded with assignments to do in college. This is when I was in college. With that money, I broke that piggy bank one day and bought myself a vintage motorcycle. And all of a sudden, I started like having a lot of interest in riding this. It's a 1983 motorcycle. It's made in Czechoslovakia. They started a unit in India. They shut in 96. This is a 83 make bike. And I started riding these bikes across the country. I also raced on it. There used to be these small Red Bull pop-ups where they used to invite all these novice category riders to sort of do dirt racing, and I'm like, wow, this motorcycle can do anything. And but it didn't stop here. I started like collecting a lot of motorcycles. Basically, I didn't keep any money on me. I just invested whatever money I got out of freelances onto buying new motorcycles. And that's one local newspaper doing an article on my collection. All of them are like all vintage motorcycles, if you can see. And they were basically the write-up talks about that these bikes are not undercover, they are actually been ridden. I started touring on the motorcycle to different parts of the country and also doing cross-country rides. These are some pictures from my ride to Nepal and Bhutan on the bike from Bombay. And India as a country is pretty diverse. Like every 20 kilometers, you will see a different sort of language being spoken, different cuisine, different culture. And that actually hit me, and I'm like, wait, what am I doing in an art college? I want to explore what the country has, and can I draw these things? Or like every journey had an influence in me. But that's when my final year campaign finished, and I had to do a formal job in an ad agency. I was sitting with, all of a sudden I was sitting with copywriters, client servicings, managers, admins, and before this I was only speaking to people with similar disorders like motorcyclists or artists. But here we are like properly putting a structure, and we're trying to build a campaign or write stories, and I couldn't understand my role in it. But I'm really thankful to that experiences. I see a lot of people struggle not doing jobs and directly starting off as freelance artists and designers. Yes, the times were very difficult. It was a toxic space for me, but I learned words like client servicing. I learned words like timelines. Just rejections, got used to rejections, came up with new ideas, because when I was in college, I would be like, okay, only one assignment is gone wrong, I can make it up in the next assignment. But when I was doing a job, I had to fix it right then, because it has to go on the billboard next day. This is what my weekdays would look, but I would wait for my weekends, which would look like this, where I would just get 2 days to just get out of the city, camp out at one of the lakes around Maharashtra, where I come from, which is in west of India. And I just wanted to keep my job side aside, and it became really boring after a point where it started feeling like a job. As I said, I was enjoying my journey all this while, and now it's become like, okay, I can't stay here for another day. When I'm on, for example, when I'm like on a longer trip, I can extend my stay, I can take a different route, but here I have to be present on a Monday. I also did a reality show with MTV called Chase the Monsoon, and I rode from Rajasthan to Nepal on a motorcycle and explored cuisine, which was again a new chapter for me. I'm like, wait, I'm an artist, what am I doing? Like, is it okay? Like, people usually do engineering and a lot of different things, and then they go to things that they love. But I was doing something I love, and I'm still getting distracted out of it. But I won the show. This was in 2015, this is almost 10 years back, and they gave us 2 lakh Indian rupees worth gear, riding gear, GoPros, a lot of different hampers and like jackets and bikes, which I would never buy myself. And I'm like, wait, this is a great exposure. Basically, it was a 24-day journey where I had to ride every day, document my journey. There used to be a car that used to follow us, shoot us, and make content and put it on the website. And we had people voting for us, and because we were too funny out of all the other contestants, we won the show. These are the perks of being in a corporate office. They celebrated with a cake. And it was like, my parents also didn't care about like me winning. They were like, my kid is on TV, I'm happy. But the office guys are like, okay, here's the cake and here's the brief. I said, okay, I don't want to continue this. I need to just, basically I ghosted them and I never went back because I had seen something better than sitting in an office. I don't promote this behavior because right now I run a company and I don't want people to do this to me. But this is what happened. I was too frustrated of the same briefs. I remember I did 70 iterations of a logo that never went through, and they never told me what's wrong about it. They just told me, do it again. And all of a sudden there were astrologers who became our art directors who would be like, okay, you can't use red, but the brand needs red. No, but red is not good for their business. You have to use blue. And I'm like, no, it's a food brand. How can it be blue? So all those conversations started happening, and I was just losing it. And I thought it's better if I just don't show them my face. And I started traveling again. And because I learned so many things from the job and from my previous experiences in an art college, I started painting places in return for free food and stay all across the country. Again, because the country being so diverse, every journey had an impact on me, and every artwork started looking different than each other. Since my college days, I've been like planning I've been trying to understand what is my actual art style. But then this was the point when I actually felt better that I don't have an art style, or I let the journey decide what I want to make, and which helps me right now when I get briefs from different sort of clients, from hospitality to music to alcobev to just fashion. Because now it's become a problem. I can't start without a brief. Now I can't, like, if you give me a paper right now and ask me to draw something, I'm blank completely. You tell me what this paper, where is this paper going, and I'm gonna draw it. Like I can understand the brief and put it in a picture sort. I became a motorcyclist who can draw, which I thought initially was the other way, and I started traveloguing my journeys just to feel like an artist. I didn't want to, I didn't need to, but because I carried a book and a sketch pen, I was enjoying this idea of drawing when I'm on my journeys. A lot of my other biker friends started their garages and were like, do you want to just help me do a mural on the garage? And that's where I actually understood, oh, I can actually paint a wall. And because the theme is so, the theme feels like home to me. The client can trust me. I didn't know anything about the commerce of this, but I was enjoying what I was doing. From there, I got picked by the India Bike Week guys, and they would let me design the entire periphery project for them, where I convinced my other friends also to join and give me an artwork, and we could like set up an entire space which is taken over by artists, but in a biker festival. Okay, this is, I'll keep it short, but in 2017 I got diagnosed with an autoimmune condition called ankylosing spondylitis. It's a sort of rheumatoid arthritis, and all of a sudden my doctors told me I can't ride bikes and I can sit for long hours, which means I can't work in an agency anymore, and I was completely shattered, like over 3 months on bed, and I couldn't just get my mind around, oh, this is an autoimmune condition, this will never get fixed, what is this, like how can this happen? Look, I've never heard of this. The doctors were like, this is one in 10,000 people, one person gets this. I'm like, wait, why me? And then I met this really nice rheumatologist who told me that, wait, I'll fix you, I'll help you, because you are a special kid, and if I don't treat you well, you might lose interest in art, and I would not get to see your art, and the world will miss out on so much that you have to offer. And all of a sudden, my entire inferiority with doctors and architects and engineers went off, because I was like, why would a doctor root for art and design? And this guy's like, no, I want to see what you're doing. My daughter is a fashion designer, and I want to see what your field has to offer and what you have to offer to the industry. That's where our next chapter started. We called it homework. I called it homework. And it was all about working in a comfort zone, as simple as working out of your bedroom, and not really paying attention to how much money is coming in, what kind of, or like I got a chance to choose what kind of projects I would do, and started like drawing and putting out my work, until when a lot of collectives started like seeing our works, and I think that was that was a recognition that I was craving, I guess, which also helped me with the doctor's statement. On my journey, when I was traveling all across the country, I documented a lot of rickshaws, auto rickshaws, or like three-wheelers in the country on my phone, and eventually reupholstered it in a three-wheeler in Bombay. It is called the three-wheel vibe. That was the only name I could think of back then. Then I got approached by Levi's, where they had this thing called Levi's 5-1-Day, and they wanted me to do a denim for them, but it has to reflect my personality and I have to use it all my life. So I just stitched one more fabric on top of it and made it into a dungaree, and I thought I use this when I paint my murals. So can I make it look like it's already used and it has a footprint of me being an artist for a while? Oh. Okay. Then I did some publication illustrations for the magazine GQ on the topic dive bars in Bombay, which is again something I'm really passionate about. And if you see, this sketch is the sketch that I did on my journey when I put the motorcyclist who can draw slide. So they actually saw that on Instagram and reached out to me saying, I want something in that style, and it all worked for me. Some collaborations with WeWork, Bira for their April Fool's Festival. We hosted a workshop called the Drink and Draw with Bira, where I outlined these sketches and numbered it and let people come and paint by numbers. And the challenge was you have to hold a beer in your hand and then you have to draw. So sometimes you start with painting 4 is blue, you start painting blue, then you go, you're like, I'm bored of painting blue, I pick 7, and 7 is red, I start red, and again I start blue, and then like just sort of becomes a chaos where, but the artwork itself is so fluid that you don't know what it actually was supposed to be. So this is not what it was supposed to be, but it still looks pretty. Then we started designing spaces for corporate clients, and the brief was make my employees not feel like they are in a jail, because they would sit for 12 hours and every space has to look different. If I get bored of sitting here, I'll sit there and whatnot. Some other spaces for the new booming influencer marketing industry clients. Again, their brief was, they are the 90s kids, but they want to behave like Gen Zs. So how do we make them feel like they are 90s? They are Gen Zs, but but actually we know that they are 90s born. Yeah, so we had some floating installations and dangler style sculptures. Okay. This was one really interesting project for us. This happened in the COVID times, in 2020, where the entire city was sleeping and no one was out. We got one skate park that was being built, and the corporate or the contractor who was building the skate park left a lot of cement marks, and he wasn't happy with his job. And I was just cycling around my place, and I looked at this different looking canvas. I'm calling everything a canvas. Like everything that has cement can be a canvas. So I approached him and I'm like, can I paint this? He's like, if you can get money for this, come and paint. I don't have money, but I want someone to wrap this because I'm not happy with the cement lines on it. I started like speaking to all my friends, my ex-clients, and all the people that I know with money, saying, do you want to put something on this? And I finally got this brand called Esports sponsoring us because they were making a skating app, and I pitched them that I'll give you this artwork as a map in your app, and they were like, okay, cool, and let's do an innovative media campaign by painting a mural. This is your money, go paint it. And because it was COVID, no one was on the streets. We were painting and the cops came to us, and we would just say, oh, we are also frontline workers. We are painting so that when the city wakes up, they have something to come and play. There were like kids who would come to play, and we would like, wait, I'm doing this for you. Come, keep your skates, hold the brushes. And that's how I got too many people to paint, and that's how I covered this 7,000 square feet space. And because it's such a big space, I put all my styles in it and just stitched it with one color scheme. So don't try to find sense in it. It doesn't make sense. Because you're used to working with so much stationery and paint, you start falling in love with residual stuff. Like when I paint an object and take it up, I like what accidental artwork gets created there just because of the colors that have been used. If you see, like, I didn't know what to do, so I just saw some accidental stuff happening in my house and I painted it over the shoes. This was a collaboration between Fila and Tinder, which is a dating app. Again, I did a collection for Urban Monkey, which is also a pretty famous streetwear brand in India. This is a mural I did in a neighborhood in Chennai, and it's a really interesting story. I didn't have an artwork ready when I went to Chennai to paint this wall. I was just going around the streets trying to find some inspirations, and often offend people because my inspirations were taken from political communications and my color schemes would match some political party. So because I don't know the script, I'm writing the script and I'm seeing the script being written on the streets in a form where they have it split in two colors. So I just went for those two colors, and they're like, no, this is the political party colors, you can't use this. I changed it. They're like, no, this is the opposition political party colors, so you can't use this too. But yeah, what I knew is going to happen with my artwork was that people are gonna put a lot of posters after I leave, like a lot of paste up posters after I leave, all those small ads that you see. Women are gonna put their saris to dry. So I painted a massive sari hanging from the terrace and everything else in a paste up style, so that even if it ages well. Here's the proof of that. I didn't put this sari, but it looks like a part of the artwork. What I'm trying to say is, when you paint in the community spaces, or like when you paint public spaces, you have to sort of satisfy the subconscious of people who live there, and so that they don't feel someone from Bombay has come to show us what we are. So that when I leave, they feel, okay, this is a part of my house, or like this is just a landmark that he helped us with. I stay in the blue building sort of space. All the projects that I showed you, the point that I was trying to make is I didn't have an art style, and my journey went on from drawing on paper to painting canvases to painting on an interior wall to painting an exterior wall, and then deciding, okay, I think I want to tell what the people around this also should be wearing, because I want to decide that also, and then what the ambience of that space is gonna look like. This is not what the artwork was. The intention was not to make the artwork for a music video, but eventually someone thought it is a nice backdrop for it, and they went for it. And again, that's what happens when you do public spaces. You can't own it. But what I realized is it's a beautiful backdrop for a music video. So I was just trying to figure what is that one binding thread that I have throughout my work, and I realized it is this. What I learned in my during my offices or like corporate jobs is that digital artworks are just blueprints for me, and they help me translate my artworks on a different KLDs or like a different shaped canvas. But one person can't do it all. You have to be Johnny Sir for that. So we thought of extending our team. We wanted to direct ourselves into, okay, we want to do a lot of things, but I can't be doing that. So can I have like more pillars with me? And that's where we formed Homework Cool Kids, which was sort of a crew which came together. Because I come from the graffiti life, I call teams as crews because they are like an entourage, or like they are just helping each other through the journey. And I just put cool kids so that they feel better and they don't feel they're traumatized at work, which they are. This is what the new studio started looking like. We started having people from different disciplines like tattoos, screen prints, animators, branding, brand designers, just strategy guys, and categorize the kind of work we do so that we can pitch ourselves well in front of the clients. So we funneled it down to murals, branding, spatial design, festival design, packaging, illustrations, art direction, and animation. We do a lot of things in between, but I don't. But I'm calling this funneling down, so you can realize. This is a mural I did in Sri Lanka at the Navla junction. Has anyone seen this? It's, I think, Columbus 7 Navla? Okay, no, I'm getting it wrong. Cool. So I'm good at working with brands because as I said, I need a brief to start with, and I want to forget what I did yesterday, and I don't want to tell them, okay, this is my style. I want to pick up different styles. We have a big team. We have a lot of illustrators in the team, so we can sort of build a style together. Pepsi was launching this new logo which has sort of a pulse going around it, and they wanted that communication to go through. But as I said, it has to satisfy the subconscious of people who live here. So, I mean, this is my idea of Sri Lanka. Maybe there'll be printed clothes, there'll be coconut trees. I also offered a lot of different water sport activities, but they rejected those. Anyways, but yeah, I mean, I don't have a lot to say about this, but I named the mural Disco Tide, where I feel techno music and electronic music is like the modern day savior of party culture, right? But in Sri Lanka, I found it's disco, because during that time I went out for some clubs which were disco. Stuff was happening there. So yeah, I called it Disco Tide because of the pulse, and I had to make some sense out of it. Because I went to an applied art college, they taught us how to sell our ideas also. So you do what you want to do, but write a good concept around it so that you can sell it well. What I'm going to show you right now is a kinetic installation that we built last year. It's called a zoetrope. I didn't know the idea of a zoetrope. It's essentially an analog animation device where you draw your artworks in stop motion and put it on a loop, like quite physically on a loop. This was with Absolute. Yeah, so the idea was to speak about being born colorless, or like the idea of how do you want to kill stereotypes. We selected a theme of an orchestra in Bombay, which was usually considered, in movies it was considered as a very shady space, but everything around the movie happened because of that one song that was shot, which they called an item number, in an orchestra. So we just sort of made that into a kinetic installation. Then some informative stuff for Cred, this credit card app. And this is where we actually worked very intensively on animation projects, worked with a lot of illustrators, put in 18 hours a day for around 2 weeks, and we realized that, okay, we don't want to do this. but yeah, it pays you well, so might as well put a team together, concentrate on other projects, and just direct these kind of projects. But yeah, it was a very informative campaign. It's a 3-minute long video which I've tried to crisp. Then I started helping some singer-songwriters who were looking for art direction for their films, and we started doing dream sequences for them. This is basically something that the protagonist sees in the dream, and we had to put it to life. I got the opportunity to design sneakers for Paris Hilton, Gary Vee, and Snoop Dogg on the way. And they wanted some kick-ass artwork, but these are not wearables. You can't really wear these and walk into a party or like just wash it. So we just gave them one shoe. We didn't give them a pair so that it feels like an artwork, and we put it in a box so that it feels like a hype artwork. Okay, our product design team helps us design or like show proof of concept before we actually make sets. I come from a city where we hustle a lot to find a single wall to paint because it's all advertising and political communications or cricket or Bollywood. These are the 4 pillars of just public art in India. And if you're not speaking this language, you don't get real estate. So I started getting gravitated towards the idea of festival design, where the artworks are made and dismantled the next day. So it's great. Like, I don't occupy your space. It's a rental space. If I like one installation, I just can carry it with me back home. But yeah, our 3D team would put in a design together, get the client to see what it looks like, and we would actually make the entire production for it. We don't have sound for this. So yeah, we designed a lounge in a festival for this brand called Breezer, and sort of gamified the entire space so that people get engaged. No one likes Breezer, no one likes to drink Breezers, but we wanted people to enjoy just being in that space. When I started directing a team, I started like losing out on the feeling of being an artist, and I would never complete a project end to end by myself. I would like just tell the idea to someone, that person will brew something, then I go to other person, I check their second level, and so on and so forth. But then I felt I need to have some fresh hobbies, and I need to feel like an artist again, and I wanted to complete an artwork from start to end all by myself. So I picked up tattooing. All these years I was just consuming tattoos. I was just getting tattoos on me, and I started asking tattooers to tattoo my designs on me, and they're like, okay, I'll tattoo one design, I'll tattoo your design on you, but do you want my artwork also? And I felt really bad. I'm like, and then one of my friends had the balls to say, dude, we are not going to tattoo your artworks on you. You tattoo your artworks on someone else. And I'm like, okay. He's like, okay, take my skin, start. And I just took that one tattoo to understand it's so easy. Because like, I keep forgetting that I come from a fine art college and I've learned all these tricks and I can learn any tool pretty quickly. So, and also, like, what motivated me to continue doing tattoos was the fact that I never made these artworks on a wall. I never made these artworks in a book. I needed a medium or like a different canvas to explore a different style again. I never made animals, I never drew animals before actually doing tattoos. And when I started tattooing, I couldn't think of doing anything else. I would only draw animals and plants. Then I learned screen printing, and I was just, I mean, like I was smelling different sort of paints. I was just happy. The pigments felt really nice. My dad was like, dude, what are you doing? Like, screen printing is dead, and my wedding cards were screen printed. You only screen print things that you give for free, like visiting cards, wedding cards. I'm like, Dad, you're missing the point. It's cheap. It's cheap to produce. If we print artworks in this, it'll just, what you print sets the rate of the artwork in screen printing. If you print a visiting card, it has to go for free. If you print a limited edition collection, it's a bomb. But I realized when you're trying to learn something so bizarre and different from what you're doing at this age, you need to invest a lot on the tools so that they give you a positive feedback. Or else if I would have used very cheap spray cans to do graffitis, I would never become a graffiti artist. If I would choose bad inks or not very powerful machines, I would never enjoy doing tattoos. And the same goes for screen printing. I built a full infrastructure which sort of became a lot for myself. So I invited my friends. I'm like, guys, do you wanna, it's fun, do you want a tattoo? Do you want a screen print? And I made all my friends, oh, actually I love how you just get out of a design space and print one day. I'm like, you have a free day tomorrow? Come, let's do this. And I started like putting this, like I started finding people with similar disorders and spreading this virus. And then I realized this infrastructure is a lot for me. I can't take care of it by myself. So I put up 2 IPs together. One was called Puncture Wala Tattoo Festival, and the other was, this was a tattoo space, and my printing studio was called Dirty Hands Company. They told me that I'm good at naming IPs and just companies, so I had the pressure to run it. So with Puncture Wala, the idea was to curate artists or tattooers who never felt like artists. They were always called tattooers because they were doing because the tattoo industry is doing all traditional work. So no, like people are treating, oh, he's a tattooer, okay. But no one is calling, he's an illustrator, bro. That person is also an illustrator. They can shift their mediums. I got a lot of tattooers to actually come and paint walls with me, and then they understood that, dude, I can't only do such small scaled work or like in a limited style, because I can't use colors on South Asian skin. I can't use, so when they do graffitis, they're like, okay, I'm using all vibrant colors. They would never realize they can do that kind of a style. So a lot of tattooers started joining us, and we started doing festivals, rather pop-ups in spaces, because we didn't have a tattoo studio. And we would ask every tattooer to carry a flash sheet, which is like a catalog of artworks that is available only for that day, and it is only available for one person. So people getting the tattoos also were getting one-of-one designs, so they were feeling special, but they can't give us a brief. They have to select. We have curated 5 people, 5 artists. Every artist can target 5 personalities, so we touch 25 personalities, and we can call 100 people to get tattoos. Like some people are like, okay, I want an anime thing, but I don't know where to go. Okay, this guy is doing all anime stuff. Okay, can I get a Psyduck? Okay, cool. Someone else is like, I want something gothic. Oh, that's your guy. So people also started enjoying this idea of just impromptu, getting tattoos impromptu, and I've realized people don't buy t-shirts impromptu, but they get tattoos, because t-shirts they can buy tomorrow. They can buy it online. They can buy when they have money. Tattoos, even if they have the last whatever bucks left, they would spend on it at a festival, because this is your chance. And at times we had to make our friends get the first tattoo, so that we are seen tattooing, so oh, it looks cool, I also want to do this. With the screen printing unit, Dirty Hands Company, we worked with a lot of artists and just art enthusiasts. For art enthusiasts, we started doing workshops. We started teaching them how to screen print their own artworks at our studio, which was also an off day for us. We used to do it on the weekend. And between the year when we had sort of a slack and we didn't have a lot of work, we would do print festivals or print pop-ups. This festival was called the Boring Party because exhibitions are called boring, and the idea was to just contradict the name. And Tanya was a part of it. She would tell you, we had over 500 people visit that show. The floor was almost going to break, and we were, what? So, like, a print show can open like this? Is there a scope of printing left in India, or do people really want to buy art? But people were just enjoying getting their hands dirty at workshops and seeing what artists can do out of screen printing. For us, it was announcing ourselves that we are screen printers and we can print with so many different artists. So if you are an artist, you can actually see how many different sort of styles we have worked on already. So just basically motivating people to get out of their screens and start screen printing. But I'm a very selfish curator. There's a reason why I did all this. The reason I say that is, I want to change the way people think of art. And when I say people, I also mean the clients. And when we all start pushing the wall breaks, and the people start accepting our work, and they sort of have a FOMO of not trying us out, and eventually give work to Homework Studio. 2024 was the most hectic year we had. We did a lot of projects. We worked with a lot of people, got a lot of rejections from clients. It was, I don't think that kind of a year is coming pretty soon, looking at the way this year is going on. But yeah, that's a show reel of our work from last year. Can we have audio for this? Is there? Okay. Yeah, I feel that's a lot of work for a calendar year, and we almost shot our BPs, fell sick throughout the journey. And but yeah, I knew this is the time and this is the year that we're gonna make that much impact and money and work with so many different people. Because I didn't predict this, but somehow this year hasn't been that great, so we're just blaming it on, we're just taking a break. And I think it's a well-deserved break because the juniors who joined our studio in 2019 are now seniors. They are taking care of the clients, so the work is pretty well distributed. I can do this talk here and the studio can still be on because all of them are confident. They are like, thriving on just getting to work on bigger campaigns and leading the projects. So I have gone back to doing some extra homework, and I'm working on things that I want to put out because all these years we have been a service company, and as a service company you are sort of just waiting for briefs to come. Sometimes the briefs don't come, and then we're like, okay, no, can we put out our products? And that's where I'm started to sculpt, 3D print some artworks, paint some canvases, do some installation. This is a bean bag, which also, how do I explain, Tanya? It's a tuna tube. It's like something that you mix with tobacco. This is for people who chew tobacco. So we made like a bean bag for one, which we can sleep on. And it's at the studio, and it's like almost a black hole. If you, after a call, if you just sleep on it, you're gone. Made this bar called Party Pooper Starter Pack, which has an Indian commode on top and beer stacked on it, and a compressor inside and a drainage system to keep it cool. Some ceramic toys, and I'm exploring 3D printing as well, but I don't know where this is going. I mean, I'm entering 2026 equally distracted as I was in 2011, 12, and equally curious. And thank you guys. Thanks for letting me take over the stage and tell you all about my story. It also gave me a lot of, I went through a lot of emotions while building this entire presentation. I've been working on this for the last 10 days, and I'm like, wait, this also happened? Oh, I need to talk about this. Yeah, thanks for this. I could like revisit my journey. Thank you.
Thank you.